are after this there are some kind of connections required for that one. Okay, एक पैनल है ये, यहाँ पे एक पैनल के ऊपर सूरज की रोशनी गिर रहा है। ठीक है, अब गिरने के बाद इसका जो एनर्जी है वो तो कहीं ना कहीं पे जाके इसको ट्रांसफर करना होगा। इस ट्रांसफर करने के लिए ये एक इंटरकनेक्टेड सिस्टम है। यहाँ पे जैसे कि हम देख सकते हैं कुछ पाइप्स वगैरह रहता है। ठीक है, ये जो पाइप्स है, ठीक है, ये पाइप से बहुत सारा वायरिंग कनेक्शन है। ठीक है, इसमें बहुत सारा तार होता है, तो उस तार के वजह से वो जो एनर्जी है, इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी को यहाँ पे कन्वर्ट करके वो पहुंचा देता है। ठीक है, ये जो पैनल है उसी का काम है, ये सोलर एनर्जी का जो फोटोवोल्टेइक इफेक्ट है उस इफेक्ट को वो काम पे लगा के उसको कन्वर्ट कर पाए। ठीक है, तो ये हो गया मेरा एक किस्म का ऐसा सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी जिसे हम लोग बोलते हैं कि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी। ठीक है, अब इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारा टाइप का एनर्जी रहता है जो कि एक्चुअली नॉन रिन्यूएबल है, मतलब उसको हम लोग दोबारा बना नहीं पाते। जैसे कि सूरज की रोशनी हमें हर रोज मिलेगा, तो उससे हम लोग हर रोज इस टाइप का एनर्जी हम लोग बना सकते हैं। ठीक है, लेकिन ये कुछ और टाइप का भी एनर्जी है जिसको हम लोग रोज नहीं बना सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, द एनर्जी कमिंग फ्रॉम द फॉसिल फ्यूल। ओके, so energy coming from the fossil fuel are definitely one of the reasons why we are looking for this alternative type of sources, because as the days are progressing, the amount of fossil fuels that are present, they are actually getting exhausted. इसका जो अमाउंट है वो घटता हुआ जा रहा है। ठीक है, आज से हजारों साल पहले जो चीज पहले फॉसिल बन चुका था, आज उसका जो अमाउंट है वो बहुत ही घट गया है। ठीक है, so there is a scarcity of those fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, etc. Now, in order to cope up with the situation, we are going for this kind of renewable sources of energy. Another very famous renewable source of energy is that we are going to have the tidal effect. Okay, जो हम लोगों को समुन्द्र में देखने को मिलेगा। ठीक है, जो टाइड्स आता है, ठीक है, पानी का जो बहाव रहता है, ठीक है, उसको काम पे लगा के हम लोग एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर पाते हैं। वो भी एक मैकेनिकल टाइप की एनर्जी है, उसको कन्वर्ट करके हम लोग इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी, या फिर हम लोग को जिस टाइप का भी एनर्जी चाहिए, ज्यादातर केस में हम लोग को इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी ही चाहिए होता है, तो उसको हम लोग कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं। ठीक है, ताकि हम लोग का जो इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी का अभी स्कर्सिटी रह रहा था उसको हम लोग आसानी से मिटा पाए। कुछ दिन पहले तक हम लोग को पता था कि टरबाइन के सहारे ही हम लोग सिर्फ इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी बना सकते हैं, लेकिन आज हम लोगों के पास इस टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से हम लोग जितने भी जगह पे हम लोग काम पे लगा सकते हैं, वो टाइड को टाइडल एनर्जी के तौर पे जो कि समंदर में मिलता है, उसके सहारे हम लोग एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस कर पाते हैं। ठीक है, नाउ इफ वी आर looking for some other information related to this particular energy, then we need to think about the sustainability of the environment. Okay, now what do you mean by the sustainability term? Sustainability is nothing but to sustain with the existing conditions. Okay, to sustain with the existing conditions. Now, among the existing conditions, we need to think about what are the causes of its Mainly, that hazardous network is due to the emission of the different kind of gases like carbon or the gases related to the carbon, then obviously the CFCs, that is the chlorofluorocarbon gases. So these are the few things which are very responsible for the different kind of bad effects on the environment. Okay, what they actually do is that they create a different type of layer in the atmosphere so that the atmospheric temperature generally increases, and not only that, it won't allow also the radiation of the heat, the radiation of the heat that was actually produced earlier, okay, to go back to the एटमोस्फियर. ओके, जैसे कि जब सूरज की किरणें पहले पहुंचती है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, वो पहुंचने के बाद उसका रेडिएशन होता है जो हमारे धरती के ऊपर, ठीक है. अब दैट रेडिएशन इफ इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स बैक, ओके, टू द एटमोस्फियर, it won't be causing any type of problem. But what these chlorofluorocarbon gases are doing, they are creating a layer on the atmosphere such that all the kind of radiation are not possible. Okay, so as a result, this atmospheric temperature is getting increased, and we can easily understand due to this particular reason we are experiencing not only the change in the temperature or increase in the temperature, but the massive fires in the forest, then different kind of floods in the regions where there is a huge amount of rainfall, then definitely the different kind of storms. Okay, these are the very reasons why the environmental balance is getting disturbed, and due to all these things, as a human being or all the other animals living on the planet in the ecosystem, they are also not having the peace of living on this earth. Okay, so these are very big problems through which we can easily understand that what are the things that are generally happening and why the environmental sustainability is a big challenge or big issue for all of the scientists who are actually doing their work in this particular way. Okay, now let us come to the discussion on the alternative ways. Okay, already we understand that to cope up with the situation we need to plant the trees. Okay, so this is one of the challenges that is already there for us, but at the same time going for another solution is also important. So only those planting the trees is not enough, that is not sufficient. So we need to think about some alternative measures also. One of them is to prepare your green building. Okay, we already understand that what is green building. It is nothing but a type of building which will use the different type of environmental resources to meet the needs of the energy. Okay, so at the daytime, first actually happens is that at the daytime in most of the cases we do not switch on our lights. Okay, but in some cases it is quite unavoidable, so we need to switch on the lights. Okay, in the green building, the building's architecture and design should be such that it will be using the daylight as the source of the light for most of the time when the sun is actually out. Okay, so in order to do that, we may go for different kind of solution. Like in the last class, we are sorry, in the last few days we have discussed about these things, like when you have a room, okay, which is having a north or east facing windows, it will give you the light for the most of the time of the day. Okay, but if you go for the windows on the western side, obviously it will be giving you the light, but at the same time it will be creating a increase in the temperature. Okay, जब सुबह में सूरज की रोशनी पूरब की ओर पे रहता है, तो वहां पे हम लोग क्या करते हैं, वहां पे अगर हम लोग का खिड़कियां होता है तो उसको हम लोग खोलते हैं, ठीक है। लेकिन अगर पश्चिम की दिशा में होता है तो दोपहर के टाइम पे वो खिड़कियां हम लोग बंद ही कर देते हैं, ठीक है। तो ऐसा हम लोगों का आर्किटेक्चर या फिर डिजाइन होना चाहिए ग्रीन बिल्डिंग का, जहाँ पे हम लोगों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा इसका बेनिफिट मिल पाए कि टेम्परेचर कितना था, सॉरी टेम्परेचर घटे, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ ये भी हम लोगों को देखना चाहिए कि वो जो हम लोगों के पास जो रिसोर्सेज है, जैसे कि सूरज की रोशनी, उसको हम लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा की टाइम लगा पाए, ताकि हम लोगों का जो बिल्डिंग के अंदर का जो लाइटिंग है उसका जो नीड है उसको हम लोग मिटा पाए, ठीक है। देन वी आर हैविंग द डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ uses of the bricks. Okay, those bricks which will be used for the,
सर
yes Nitish,
सर हम लोग को किस तरफ खिड़की रखना चाहिए, वेस्ट तरफ या ईस्ट तरफ? मतलब जैसे आप बोले कि वेस्ट तरफ अगर खिड़की रखेंगे तो गर्म हो जाएगा।
हाँ वेस्ट की तरफ रखना तो नहीं चाहिए, अच्छा होता है अगर नॉर्थ या फिर साउथ की तरफ हम लोग रखें।
तो सर वेस्ट तरफ गर्म मतलब हीट क्यों हो जाता है, घर गर्म क्यों हो जाता है खिड़की रहने पर?
देखो वेस्ट के टाइम पे क्या होता है, जो दोपहर को हम लोग अगर खिड़की खोल के रखेंगे तो सूरज की किरणें वेस्ट के साइड से ही तो ज्यादा आएगी ना, तो
यस
वहां
सर।
पे तो हम लोग ज्यादा टाइम तक अलाउ नहीं कर पाएंगे वो चीज, तो
यस।
खिड़कियां हम लोग को बंद ही करना पड़ेगा। ओके,
ओके।
एनीवेज, ओके,
ओके।
थैंक यू। So let us move to the next part, that is the uses of the specially prepared bricks. Okay, in most of the times we have seen that we have gone for the use of conventional bricks, which are very easily available and which are very cheap. इसका भाव भी बहुत कम होता है, तो इसलिए हम लोग कन्वेंशनल ब्रिक्स की तरफ ही जाते हैं। बट इफ वी गो फॉर the bricks which are actually hollow bricks and prepared with the different kind of waste material, it will help us in two ways. First one, it will be helping us in reducing the amount of waste, and the second thing is that if we get the hollow bricks in our buildings, it won't allow the heat to propagate inside our buildings. Okay, so actually this thing was discussed in the previous day. Obviously I'll be sending you the notes and it will be easier for you then to understand all these things, how that amount of heat is actually getting reduced. Okay, so definitely green building is a very important thing where this kind of solutions are actually required. So obviously I'll be showing you how the hollow brick is actually working. Let me share the screen. So here it is. Obviously, I hope that you can see this particular screen where the solar passive features are written. Okay, it is obviously a very important thing in terms of the understanding of the solar heat propagation. Well, now, what actually happens in case of the hollow brick? Okay, now in case of the hollow brick, in this particular part, okay, what you will be able to see is that, let me increase the size of it. Here it is. So what actually happens in case of the hollow bricks at the first place? So this is your outside of the building, this one, where I'm hovering this particular mouse, and this one is the inside of your room, okay, where all the numbers are actually written. So generally at the first place, what happens? The solar energy comes directly on the walls, okay, which are outside. Now, when they are reaching the wall, they are having this amount of energy as 700 to 900 watt per meter square. Okay, so this is the amount of heat that is coming. Now, after a while, what is actually happening? Some amount of that energy will be reflected back, okay, which is written one over here as the reflected heat, okay, and some amount of thing will be going inside through the wall. Okay, ये जो मेरा दीवार है, इस दीवार से अंदर जाने की कोशिश करेगी, ठीक है. Now, what if we are going to have this hollow brick in the construction? Okay. Now, in case of the hollow brick in the construction, what you can see is that this wall, okay, is allowing only a small percentage of the heat to go inside. Okay, comparing to the 700 to 900 watt per meter square, what is coming inside is given in the value 200 watt per meter square. This one. So this amount is only going inside. However small, it will create the, or it will increase the temperature inside the particular room. Now, what if we have the hollow bricks, then what will happen? In between the two layers of the brick, there is a hollow layer, okay, where again some amount of heat will try to propagate, but again some amount of heat will be reflecting back. Okay, the amount of heat that will be propagating will be 50 watt per meter square. Okay, again some part of it will be received by the another layer of a wall. ये जो दूसरा लेयर है मेरा दीवार का, वहां पे कुछ ना कुछ और उसका एब्जॉर्प्शन होगा, और आखिर में जो अंदर जाएगा, that amount is around 5 to 6 watt per meter square. Okay, so it is very interesting that at the beginning it was around 700 to 900 watt per meter square, the amount of heat that was actually looking to go inside the building. Okay, but now in the end, what we are receiving inside our room is less than 1% of that. Okay, तो उसका जो 1% से भी कम अमाउंट पे हीट हम लोगों के पास पहुंच रहा है, ठीक है. So this is your thing that is very much important, that is the uses of this kind of walls instead of the conventional walls. Okay, so this is it. Now, other than that, there are few more things in the green building, that is the rating system of the green building. Okay, now what's happening with the rating system of the green building? Obviously, we have heard about the LWD rating, that is the leadership in, let me show you, leadership in energy and environmental energy, sorry, design. So obviously, if you are going for the different kind of LWD rating, you will be giving some rating on the buildings. Okay, most of us have heard about the 3-star, 5-star buildings, okay, like your hotels. Then we have gone for the rating system on the electrical appliances also, like your 3-star, 5-star refrigerator, ACs. This kind of things are generally available in our daily life. Okay. Now, for this particular thing, that is the green building, we are also having different kind of uh, rating system for the different buildings. Okay. Now, the rating system is based on the next 5 things that is going to be discussed. Okay. First one is definitely sustainable site development, then water savings, then energy efficiency, material selection, and indoor environmental quality. Okay. So these are the 5 key areas where we need to think about before going for the different kind of certification. So this is your LEED, leadership in energy and environmental design. So we need to think about or need to keep the track of the following things when we are thinking about the rating system of a building. Okay. So obviously, if we are having the different ranges of the value, then we can have the different kind of certification level. Okay. So there are possibly 69 marks that the buildings can have as per the current requirement. If the building is having those points as 26 to 32, then it will be only LEED certified. But if it is having the higher values, then it will be certified as silver, gold or platinum level also. Okay. जैसे कि एक 5 मेरा एस्पेक्ट है जिसके हिसाब से जिसके मुताबिक हम लोगों को उसका रेटिंग सिस्टम जानना चाहिए. ठीक है. और कुल मिला के ये 5 जो पॉइंट है उसके अंदर मेरा 69 पॉसिबल पॉइंट है जो इसको मिल सकता है. ठीक है. जैसा कि किसी एक मैच पे अगर हम लोग खेल रहे हैं तो हम लोग को फुटबॉल मैच अगर होता है तो हम लोग को गोल करके जीतना पड़ता है. ज्यादा गोल अगर हम लोग डालते हैं ओपोनेंट से तो हम लोग वो मैच जीतेंगे और उसके लिए हम लोग को इन जनरल वी नीड टू गेट 3 पॉइंट्स. ओके. 3 पॉइंट हम लोग को मिलता है. तो उसके हिसाब से एक जब लीग खत्म होता है तो सबसे ज्यादा पॉइंट जिस टीम को मिलता है जीतने की वजह से 3 पॉइंट, ड्रॉ करने की वजह से 1 पॉइंट, इन सभी को मिला के तो वो टीम एक्चुअली चैंपियन होता है. ठीक है. यहाँ पे हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि ये जो LEED सिस्टम है यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या करेंगे, उस रेटिंग सिस्टम के हिसाब से हम लोगों को कुछ पॉइंट देना पड़ता है. ठीक है. अब ये पॉइंट अगर हम लोग देते हैं किसी भी बिल्डिंग को तो उसके हिसाब से उसका ओवरऑल जो रैंकिंग है उसको हम लोग डिसाइड करते हैं. ठीक है. अब अगर उसका ओवरऑल पॉइंट 26 से 32 से अंदर होता है तो उसको LEED सर्टिफिकेशन मिलता है. फिर उसका अगर ओवरऑल पॉइंट 33 से 38 के बीच होता है तो सिल्वर मिलता है और उससे भी अगर ज्यादा होता है तो गोल्ड और प्लैटिनम भी उसको सर्टिफिकेट मिल सकता है. ठीक है. नाउ इन दिस पर्टिकुलर टेबल we have 2 columns. Over here it is the number of points, maximum 69. Okay. This one is the latest version of the LEED rating system point. Okay. Another one over here is given, okay, where the number of points available, maximum number of points available is 110. Earlier till 2011 this point system or rating system was actually allowed. Okay. But nowadays we have changed the system and we have gone for this kind of rating system where this kind of points of up to 69 can be obtained. Okay. Then another APA is there which is having the rating system. It is the Energy and Resource Institute, that is the PERI. They are having the key areas of key areas. Compared to the LEED, there were 5 key areas. They are also having 3 key areas. But again, remember that most of them are actually interrelated. First one is the site selection and planning, then is the building planning and construction, and the third one is the building operation and maintenance. यहाँ पे एक्चुअली क्या होता है, एक बिल्डिंग को अगर हम लोग मान्यता देते हैं तो उसके लिए सर्टिफिकेट देने के लिए हम लोगों को कुछ ऑब्जर्व करना पड़ता है पहले, ठीक है। जैसे कि पहला ये उसका साइट कैसा है, ठीक है, ठीक है, कौन से साइट पे वो बिल्डिंग एक्चुअली बना हुआ है, उस साइट के आसपास किस किस तरीके का इंडस्ट्री है, उस बिल्डिंग के आसपास मेरा जो पानी या फिर जो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का जो सोर्सेस है वो कैसा है, ठीक है। ये सारे चीजों को हम लोग को ध्यान में रखना होता है जब हम लोग एक बिल्डिंग को एक साइट सिलेक्शन के हिसाब से हम लोग मान्यता देते हैं, ठीक है। देन वी नीड टू थिंक अबाउट द energy and the waste produced by the building, okay, and eventually where they are actually going. In many cases we have seen that it is because of the lack of the awareness we used to throw the garbages in the dustbins which are actually locally available, okay. Now what is actually happening in that case is that we do not see many of the people who are actually aware of the fact that the plastic waste, the food waste, these kind of things should be separated. Okay. So due to that particular reason, we need to think about this particular point very, with some kind of emphasis. Okay. Now what is actually happening over is that here is that if we go for the different kind of rating system, obviously we should be having some kind of buildings which have been already certified. Okay. Now through the next few classes, obviously we'll be going for the detailed discussion of all these kind of buildings. Okay. So there are a few buildings, okay, like your Soravji Godrej Green Business Center in Hyderabad. Okay. It is a certified green building. Okay. And this particular certified green building is a model green building. Also, other than that, there is our ITC tower in Gurgaon. Then there is BSGES building in IIT Kanpur. Okay, all these buildings are having that kind of certification, which could be called as the green building. Okay. Now, when we are talking about the construction of the building, okay, we have already understood that what should be used in the time of the construction, that is the hollow bricks. The problem lies with the fact that the hollow bricks have a higher kind of value, okay, higher price when they are actually purchased. Okay, say for example, one conventional brick is coming at the price of 15 rupees per piece. Okay, but at the same time, the hollow brick could be having the price of 50 rupees per piece. Okay, so this is what we actually have in our daily life. So when we are thinking about the initial cost of the construction, we would be going for the conventional brick because it is having the lesser amount of price in our market when we are actually going for the different kind of certification. Okay, so initially we definitely have the higher cost, but after that, if we go for the materials which will give us the green building certification, it will help us to reduce the annual cost. Okay, say for example, if we are constructing the building with the hollow bricks, as we have seen in the previous case that the amount of heat that is propagating inside the particular building is very less. Okay, now what is actually happening in case of our long run, the amount of electric bill that was actually generated is coming very less, okay, with respect to the electricity bill that is coming for the buildings made with the conventional brick. बिकॉज उसके अंदर, क्योंकि उसके अंदर का जो हीट का जो अमाउंट जाता है, जो कन्वेंशनल ब्रिक से हम लोग बनाते हैं, उसके वजह से हम लोगों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा टाइम तक हम लोगों को घर पे एसी चलाना पड़ सकता है, ठीक है। लेकिन अगर कन्वेंशनल ब्रिक्स के हिसाब से हम लोग अगर बिल्डिंग बनाते हैं, तो एसी की जरूरत ज्यादातर टाइम पे हम लोगों को नहीं पड़ेगी। तो उसकी वजह से उसका जो एनुअल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल है, वो तो ऑटोमेटिकली घट जाएगा, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट इज मोस्टली हैपनिंग इन दिस डेज। नाउ another important thing is that nothing to do with this particular slide. Another important
हेलो
thing,
सर।
yes,
सर आप बोले कि कन्वेंशनल में हम लोग का ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रिक बिल आता है और ग्रीन बिल्डिंग में कम आता है ना।
हाँ हाँ, क्योंकि
हाँ वही सर, वो मिस्टेक।
ग्रीन बिल्डिंग उसी के लिए बनाया जाता है, ताकि हम लोगों का जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस है, उसी से हम लोगों को ज्यादा से ज्यादा एनर्जी मिल पाए, ठीक है। जैसे कि
यस सर, वो
लाइटिंग वाला जैसे मैंने बोला, ठीक है, उसके हिसाब से मैंने फिर से बोला कि जो खिड़कियां हम लोग बनाते हैं, ठीक है, ये खिड़कियां भी हम लोगों को इसी डायरेक्शन में बनाना चाहिए, ताकि उसका जो क्रॉस वेंटिलेशन हो, वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा टाइम पे ही हम लोगों को मिल पाए, ठीक है। क्रॉस वेंटिलेशन इज अनदर इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग which will actually helps us to reduce the amount of heat that is actually inside the building, or reduce the amount of temperature. Okay. Now, when we are going for this kind of this kind of construction, we have another important thing which is called as the embodied energy. Okay. So, as the name suggests, some amount of energy will be stored inside the body of the building. Okay. So, that is your embodied energy. Okay. Let me present the screen to you so that you can easily understand this particular concept of the embodied energy. Okay. So, this is your embodied energy analysis. Obviously, there are few scientists who are actually still working on it. Okay. Some of them have given us some sort of idea about what kind of precautions that we need to take care in our daily life. Now, in the buildings which are having the operational energy, okay, like operational energy means this electricity energy, then for the lighting, for the heating and the cooling purposes, okay. So these are the different sources. Obviously, so there are different sources of the energy, okay. Now, when the building is being constructed, some amount of energy will be also used, okay. Some amount of energy will be used means that when the building will be constructed, उसके लिए हम लोगों को जो मटेरियल्स चाहिए होता है, उसको हम लोग बाहर कहीं से ना कहीं से हम लोग लाते हैं, ठीक है। अब जो दूसरे जगह से हम लोग जो चीज लाते हैं, उसको हम लोगों को ट्रांसपोर्ट करना पड़ता है, कभी कभी मैन्युफैक्चर करना पड़ता है। तो इसके कारण हम लोगों को बहुत सारे चीज ऐसे मिलते हैं जो हम लोगों को चाहिए होता है, ठीक है। और उसी एनर्जी को, मतलब जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए या फिर उसका जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है उसके लिए हम लोगों को जितने भी टाइप का एनर्जी हम लोगों को मिलता है, उस एनर्जी को हम लोग बोलते हैं embodied एनर्जी, ठीक है। सो दैट embodied एनर्जी needs to be taken care at the same time, okay, when the building was actually being constructed. Okay. Now, embodied energy has to be calculated with the different sources, like your transportation, okay. So if we are going for the embodied energy, sorry, if we are going for transporting some material from a long distance, what we need to do is that we should be using the some sort of things which are locally available, ठीक है। ये embodied energy का हम लोगों का जो वैल्यू है, इसको हम लोगों को घटाने के लिए हम लोग को क्या करना पड़ सकता है, इसके लिए हम लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ जो हम लोग का लोकली अवेलेबल मटेरियल है उसका भी यूज हम लोग कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। देन वी कैन गो फॉर दी different kind of things which are actually generally available in our daily life is the life cycle of those materials. Okay, so obviously there are some sort of waste that are produced after the demolition of the old construction. So for some kind of purpose like your flooding purpose, we can use those debris also for the construction. Okay, जो फ्लोरिंग के लिए हम लोगों का जो बेस बनाना पड़ता है वहां पे हम लोग जो कंस्ट्रक्शन का डेब्रिज होता है, जो ओल्ड कंस्ट्रक्शन को डेमोलिश करने के बाद जो बचा हुआ कंक्रीट पड़ा रहता है उसको हम लोग ग्राउंड सॉरी उसका जो फ्लोरिंग है उसके पर्पज से हम लोग काम पे लगा सकते हैं, ठीक है। सो दिस इज अनदर सोर्स। देन ऑब्वियसली this embodied energies calculation is very important, and in most of the cases we have seen that 10 to 30% of the energy of a building is your embodied energy. Okay, so this is a very concerning thing that need to be reduced. Okay, because once you have done the construction you cannot change any kind of thing. Okay, so हम लोग जब कंस्ट्रक्शन करते हैं उसी के टाइम पे जो एम्बॉडीड एनर्जी का हम लोगों के पास वैल्यू है उसको हम लोगों को घटाना पड़ता है, ठीक है। Obviously there are another reasons that should be considered, that over the service life of building the higher embodied energy building materials may give you the higher amount of electricity bill or higher amount of your charges which are actually generated from the building. Okay, so appropriate selection of the material is very much important. Now it is very difficult to measure the embodied energy, but at the same time we go for the obviously the quantity of the non-renewable energy, then we convert it into the embodied energy. Okay, so there are some sort of energy which can be measured from the building, and we generally convert that percentage into the embodied energies calculation. They are generally having the units as megajoules or gigajoules per unit weight or unit area. Okay, now obviously when we will be going for the selection of the materials we need to take care of the following points. Obviously the building materials of the embodied energy should be considered with respect to the durability of the building materials, then how easily the materials can be separated, use of the locally available materials, then recycled materials. As we have said that waste generation is a very big issue and we should be thinking about using those waste materials mostly in our daily life. Okay, then avoiding the waste, obviously another way of getting rid of the waste is that reducing the amount. Okay, and also the selecting the materials that are manufactured using the renewable energy sources. As we have said that in our Vidyasagar Bhavan building, in the roof, in the very at the very beginning of the class, we have shown you that the solar panels are actually available here. We have installed some solar panels which will give us the solar energy. Okay, and we can convert that solar energy into electrical energy so that we can use those particular energy for our lighting purpose. So related to this one, obviously we need to have the idea about the different kind of greenhouse gas emission. Okay, the chlorofluorocarbons are there, some carbon dioxide are there. Okay, so this all these things will lead us to the problem that is caused by the increase in the temperature. Okay, in order to work on it we need to think about the carbon footprint. Okay, so that is another very important thing, is your carbon footprint, which is very, very related to the environmental sustainability. Okay, that carbon footprint is somewhat we have discussed till now, but again I will be discussing in our next class. That therefore the design professional and consultant, which are actually very much important in our nowadays, in order to make the environment safer, they go for the different kind of solution. Okay, they are actually constantly looking for different kind of solution. So in the regions with the prolonged cooling and heating period, the efforts of recent years have led to a significant reduction of operational energy consumption. Okay, then in selected countries, the task of reducing embodied impacts has already been identified as a goal in the national strategies. Okay, then in the selected countries and organizations, the goal of reducing embodied impacts has become a part of the task for the requirement for the certification or purchase of a building. Okay, so obviously when the awareness of the people are generally built, actually they will be going for these kind of buildings, or they will be aware of the fact that what this embodied energy is and how this amount of the energy could be reduced. Okay, so obviously for that purpose we have different kind of things, that is the role of their design profession and the consultants in the information and supply chain. Obviously the supply chain thing will be discussed in our next class. We are running out of time right now. So definitely this kind of problems that we are having, even very recently we can see that another forest fire is actually happening in the South America currently. Okay, in the South American country, the fire forest is actually happening. It was earlier in the Australia, then in the Amazon. We have all seen that this kind of fire forests are actually happening, and they are actually causing the different kind of problem. Okay, so obviously these problems need to be addressed, and after that we need to think about the sustainable environment. Okay, where we can sustain for a longer period of time. Okay, so if you have any question, please go ahead and ask. Otherwise we'll stop here for the day. Obviously we have two new students with us. Okay, I cannot see both of them right now. Let's see if they are already there. Okay, okay, so this is it for the class. Obviously I don't think that you are having any question right now. Most of you are already having the questions, already having the notes. Two students have joined later on the class, so two new students from the latter entry have joined in our class today. So I'll be sending you all the notes related to this particular subject, as well as the e-books that are actually available with our department will also be sent to you. Okay, so thank you everyone for.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so Pujan, you are the new one. From which part you are from?
सर मैं सर डिप्लोमा करके यहाँ पे आया हूँ.
Yes, from where you belong to? तुम्हारा घर कहाँ पे है?
सर मेरा घर बांकुड़ा में है.
You are from Bankura, okay. And from which college you have completed your diploma?
Bishnupur Public Institute of Engineering.
Okay, you have completed from BPI. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Then another student is, I think, Abhijit. Abhijit, are you there? Abhijit, you are from which college and which place? Sorry, you're also from Bakura, and which college? Okay, the same college, BPI. Okay, very good. So actually, it is very good to have the new students with us. So from the different parts, some latter entry students have joined from the Tripura. Some of you already belong to the Bihar and Jharkhand region of the country. Also, you have your seniors from the Kashmir. So there is a big diversity, and in this particular college, and which is very very good for all of us, so that we can easily learn their all these things, their culture, their education, their background, each and everything could be learned from here. Okay, so these are the things that are expected in our class, so that we can have the maximum amount of students from the different places, so that we can easily have the diversity of the students we are having right now. So definitely it's a good one.